Okay, I'm
I think
recording. I'm
I
recording.
think a good okay. I think a good subject would be like what does the Oahspe mean to you? Like what do you think the meaning is, or what have you gotten out of it, or generality kind of thing. The specifics and all this kind of stuff can get into I don't know missing the boat sometimes if you ask me. Not to be judgmental, but just
Yeah,
like I consider the Oahspe a really an ego buster or something that really should be trying of like self-help book kind of thing, but the best of the best kind of thing, like the spiritual guidance, but also help yourself so that you can help others. So anyway, that's what I would like to, if getting to know one another and where we're kind of coming together with the Oahspe.
yeah. Do you want to talk about how you learned about the Wapsi guy?
Sure. Um, I went through a divorce, had like a 2-year old boy, and was really you know, not liking the whole confusion of everything. I've read the Holy Bible, quote unquote, uh, at least twice at that point in my life, and I was meditating and trying new things, new understandings, and came to the conclusion that I wasn't going to call the Creator God anymore. I was going to just refer to the Creator's universe, or just the all, And shortly after that, I came across Selah Shalom, if you know him, on YouTube, and talking about pretty much, there was a separation there where their God wasn't the creator. I was like, okay, I got to check this out, and started reading the Oahspe on my own, just like I did with the Holy Bible, and it's the clarity came with it, a lot of clarity, a lot of understanding of where I'd come to try to. It's almost like if you seek, therefore you shall find. Like that's just a truth, and it's not to say therefore if you seek, there shall you find. Truth is whatever you seek, you're going to find it. And so I really set forth on seeking truth and had to just kind of conquer some inner demons and a lot of the with the ego and selfishness. And that's, you know, uh, how I came to come to know it was pretty much just some understand. I don't know. Like I've always had a connection with the creator. I used to call him God, but I even remember back all the way when I was maybe third, fourth grade, didn't like what was going on and kind of like, hey, you're the all powerful one. You can choose all this stuff. Why'd I gotta suffer? It doesn't make sense, trying to figure it out. So I don't know. That's it's always been there. And then the Oahspe just affirmed a lot of the things from my life that weren't clear. Like I remember when I was 15, 16 years old, dabbling a good little bit in LSD, and I just told my friends, I'm sure it came, it didn't come from me. I believe, comes from could be spirits very well, direct connection to the creator. That came to me was like the answers in the children. If we raise the next generation, if everyone raised the next generation correctly, then it would be done. Like then all the generations following would be it, because then it was finally, and then the Oahspe explains like, yes, that is that answer. And I'm not saying there was anybody at 15, 16 years old. I think it's always had a bit of a connection there. And 11 years ago, came to know the Oahspe. It's definitely been a bigger spark and fire under my butt with all getting to know, I don't know, a spiritual enlightenment. I don't like to really say anybody's enlightened, but uh, selflessness I've come to understand with the Oahspe. That's pretty much the game, big thing. And selflessness is not just giving; it's a lack of self,
Right.
thinking of yourself.
That doesn't come with birth. Selflessness doesn't come with birth. But I think a lot
No,
of
yeah, well, Oahspe explains it is at birth you're selfish. Infants are selfish. That's okay. So you should really understand when you grow up and you're selfish, well, you're being immature. And, so anyway, I'm sorry, I hate to cut off, but yeah, you were
well, I think maybe the best word is saying infants, children are not not competitive by birth. Usually, infants and kids are very
saying.
competitive. Yeah, yeah. I
Well, I was
think
thinking,
I think
go
as a
ahead.
general rule, like Faithists, like people who believe in Wapsi, like it's been for me, like a ladder reaching higher and higher. I was into the Jehovah's Witnesses, and then Associated Bible students, and then Chicago Bible students, and it just become just become greater and greater and greater knowledge. Because from my understanding, I mean, a lot of Faithists are they're hunger, they're very hungry for spiritual truth.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Is it
Yeah,
that
definitely.
right, Bob?
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I agree.
truth is the big one. Truth about everything. Truth about corporal, which is the material world. Truth about our spiritual. The truth of history in a corporate history in the S, or atmosphere, etheria. Truth about it all. But really, it comes down to like how can you be happy? How can I be happy and live in our day to day kind of life and have peace of mind? Everybody's kind of striving for these things. What's the meaning of life? And it really, for me, it answers it in 900 or so pages. But it's quite a journey to go through it all and to kind of say, okay, I see a bigger picture. Even when it comes to cosmology, it gets into where you're trying to see a bit of like now, our science now says that the sun is making all this happen with our solar system, but with the Oahspe, it's actually quite different. There's an unseen force, a vortex that's actually creating that sun and creating everything within it. And then it's breaking all the way down to where it's actually the unseen affecting the seen. The unseen is potent while the seen is impotent. So there's a switching around understanding kind of thing. Humility goes into it. The self and the ego will try to take credit for all these things. Coming from me, it's not coming from outside. That kind of stuff.
Right.
So
And part of that humility is acknowledging you're wrong and you need to switch beliefs. You need to reach something higher. And
sure, but
a lot
also
of
not being hard on yourself too. Be easy on empathetic and compassionate.
a lot of Christians and Mohammedans are kind of like, this is all there is. This is all there is of the Quran, or this is all there is, and this is the Holy Bible. There's nothing else besides this. I mean, nowhere in the Bible does it say that. Nowhere in the Quran does it say it's the only thing. I mean, there's an infinite amount of resources in the heavens. I mean, I think all of us agree with that, right? You, Bobby, you agree there's infinite amount of books in the heavens,
A lot anyway.
right?
Million.
So the humility comes from changing your views, and when you're hungry, it should not necessarily be that when you change your views, um, you're not seeking the higher light, because you are seeking the higher light. How about you, Bob? What happened to you? I know you served in the Peace Corps. I know you're in Japan right now, and you have like a 600-page book.
Yeah, I'm working on it slowly.
Yeah, you've done a lot of OCR work too.
Yeah. With
You brought a lot of light to a lot of people.
Yeah, I wanted, just like you've been saying, the truth is important to all of us. And I want to search for truth and then to reveal that, not that any book has all the truth, but that each person can decide what they can take from every model of truth and try to incorporate it into their life. So that's just basically what it's been. Oahspe has been said as kind of an enigma where it's hard to understand some aspects of it. There seem to be some serious contradictions in it. And even though I greatly admire the stories about the heavens and the philosophical uh, suggestions how to lead your life, there's still some things based on when I saw the faithless communities, so-called, not actually follow what the Oahspe says. It made me start to wonder, well, then what the heck's going on? Why are we gathering together and yet we have these strange contradictions of beliefs to what Oahspe's principles are, and yet you say you think it's a great book. So then I
yeah, well,
had to figure had to try to figure that out.
yeah, well, that gets into like everybody's human, and I think it's kind of faithists can. I don't know. I personally, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've come across plenty of Faithists. I only know maybe 2 or 3 out of the 15 to 20 that I've met that I would consider, if I was going to judge, consider them true Faithists or not. And I don't really like to put that in a situation. I've gotten in a situation where I really considered myself being around a false Faithist, like the person was just completely not a Faithist and trying to say they were, and were wanting me to be a part of a ritual ceremony thing. I said I wasn't, and I gave my recommendations on cleanliness. Like, I understand the teaching. The teaching's first thing to do is you say cleanliness. You don't eat meat, take a shower every day, and you try to have clean thoughts. And then pretty much from there, as you're trying to be selfless, to have faith. But the main thing is cleanliness. So I thought, the place wasn't clean. Had like half of the building was like, boxes to the ceiling and, rats and stuff running around. I'm willing to help you clean this place out, but I will not just be blindly a part of the ceremony. So, and there was some problems with that. Those person was telling me that people who've left there have committed suicide. It felt like it was a veil warning to me. And I got back home after a long ride from Missouri. I was spiritually attacked, no doubt. Had to go through a little bit of, resort back to some serious meditation and getting clear-minded and finding my center. And then it was like clear to me that, yes, it was more than one, messing with me, and so I felt that I was able to get stronger during the attack after it got turned around. And so I don't know. I would say when it comes to seeing the failings of others, it's just like a person, like me and you failing, we're going to get back up and do better. And I'm taught to find the good in all things. So I could try to find the bad in the Oahspe. I could try to find the bad in all the other Faithists in the communities and everything, but there's a lot of good. And that good has shown me that light is brighter than anything that I've ever found. And also found that you can have so much information, you can get confused. And the main focal point for me has been ego, to where I get lost in my ego and find security there and get lost in the subjective. And there's nothing real there. There's no growth there. It's more of just hiding and not facing fears, I guess. And faith is the only way I know how to face fear. Like, there is no fear with faith. And also gratitude and all these things really came to me where, like, you can't be in a real bad place when you're in this gratitude and having faith and pushing yourself almost moment by moment trying to do that. Like, constant state of prayer, constant state of gratitude, constant state of faith, and where you're trying to be one with the Creator, and not necessarily like, oh, I am the Creator or anything. It's just the Creator's will. I'm a ray of light, that I'm not the sun, that kind of thing. So the Oahspe showed me that more than anything else, and I really focused on that. And I wish I could sit there and prove things and share, exactly what I'm talking about. But I think when it boils down to it, when you a Oahspe or not, I don't even have to bring up the Creator. When you bring up selfishness and selflessness, and then you have lower understanding and a higher understanding, and when you're taught, when you try to bring that into light, where if you choose your highest understanding, whenever you're making choices, then that's your highest light. It doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't, that's what we try to strive to do. And so that's what the Oahspe taught me. And of course, that is going into where it's not about, your highest understanding is selflessness. So when I do that, that brings me peace of mind. I mean, it helps me be a better person. And I'm telling you, it's very, I don't know how to explain it. It's personal, but yet I'd like to say it's miraculous or mystical, but it's not, because it's changing. It's making it where that's the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be growing, supposed to be going towards the light like a plant. And when we're not, well, then what do you expect? You expect darkness. And I don't know. Trying to be aware of such things. So self-awareness has been a big part to me, regardless of the Oahspe. Like, just, It means a lot to me to know what's going on moment by moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you go to like Ashland, Missouri, or Sarcoxy, Ashland, Oregon, Sarcoxy, Missouri, or Colorado, Molina?
Yeah, Molina.
Oh, you did. And what did you think about that?
Overall, it was positive. It was. I could definitely harp on the bad because it was plenty of it, but there's good ideas there, and the fellow who had the land was really dumping a lot of his money into it and trying to, have a place for anybody to be able. I'm sorry.
Carl Volsteck.
Yeah, Carl. Yeah, that was him, Carl Vostatek. And I'm good friends with his son. I want to pronounce his name right. What's the boxer's name? Ali. I want to pronounce it Eli. Ali. Hadn't seen him in a while, but supposedly he's doing better now. And there was just some issues with just seeing eye to eye, and just like any community like that. I'm sure if I was able to stick around and other people were able to stick around, because they were from Australia. There was a David and his wife Jan, had two boys, and most part I'd say we saw eye to eye and everything. It's just when people start trying to write down rules and make down, it's almost natural to have a little bit. Whoa, now start laying down the rules and make people sign things, but.
Does Molina still exist right now?
It's like on hold. It seems like they just put the pause button on. Yeah.
The Yellows took over.
Oh, really? I like the
Yellow.
Ellis. Are you happy about that? Are you happy about that, Bob?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think to me, the whole thing. Well, we were talking earlier about, I agree with everything with, is your name Gail?
Guy.
Gail, I agree pretty much with everything you said, and I think you're right about letting people, work things out themselves and freedom, but to work together, you have to have founding principles that make sense, or you're going to fail. Like, if we don't even have anything in common. No, but they aren't. They're there. But they aren't there. You say they're there, but they're not. There. Well, let me finish. See, you won't even let me finish talking. Yeah. Okay. Let me finish. Okay. You just assumed that whatever I was going to say was wrong, and I don't think.
Well, I don't agree. So go ahead.
Well, no. Well, you wouldn't even let me finish the sentence, Gail. It's like it was just too hard for you to do that.
His first is Guy, and I'm letting you finish, so go right ahead.
Guy. I listened to you for 10, 15 minutes. I said 2 sentences, and you wouldn't even let me finish my second sentence. So come on, man. Give me. I was saying I said I agreed with everything you said, okay? And then I tried to start to explain things. Why? Then I was asked why. What did I think about Molina, and what I think the L is taking over? And I started to explain it, and then you interrupted me. Okay. So
you said there was no foundation. You said there was no foundation.
You don't. So that's what you don't want to listen to what I have to say. I won't say anything. Go ahead, just talk.
Well, Guy,
let me finish.
I'm telling you what you said.
Can I say something, Guy? So this is what happened. So this is what happened. Bob lives in Japan. He used to live in Michigan. He comes down to Colorado, and he was kicked out. It was inappropriate for what they did. And
I know more about this place than you think I do. And
so he is
talking about it. Guy, you really seemed like a really reasonable person, but when I started to express my opinion and talk, and I hadn't even begun, you cut me off. And man, I don't understand that.
I told you to continue, and you wouldn't continue.
Okay. Do you want me to continue now?
Yes, continue where the Oahspe is no foundation for community. Please continue.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
That's what I heard. So I'm wrong. My bad.
That's not what I said. I said you have to have founding principles that are the same, where you believe things, or it's just going to fall apart. Okay, that's all I said. And I said I do agree that people have to have a right, to approach their spiritual path the way they want to do it. But you couldn't take two opposite spiritual principles and say, well, these people are going to be fine. They might for a while work it out, and in the end, it's going to fall apart. And what I was pointing out was the founding principles of Molina are such that it could never work for anybody that read Oahspe. Okay? And some of the founding principles are this. One, it's pro-choice. It's pro-abortion. The purpose of your community has a purpose. Their purpose was they're going to take unwed mothers in and then help them either take their children or let them kill the children. To me, that automatically puts you against the higher habits. So it could never work. At least they're not going to be in the direction of the higher spiritual inspiration. Secondly, they were commanding the people who were there to say these certain prayers and to worship in a certain way. They're speaking against what you just said you thought was right, which was to let people go ahead and approach the spiritual path the way they want. They were telling me I had to pray to Serpenta Armij specifically, which is also against the Oahspe's principles. You're not supposed to pray to any God except the Creator. Okay, so those are two examples. And anyway, and well, more. I mean, they wanted me to meditate about symbols in Saphah, and that was the way to progress spiritually. And if you didn't do it, you weren't going to make it. Okay, this is by one of the leaders of Molina talking to me. Okay, and I just could not accept that, and so and that's happened to me. So, and then there was a question. So, first of all, I'm going to say I don't think Molina was in good hands at all. I think they spent a lot of money, but their ideas were whack. Okay, those three things they said. If you're against the core principles of Oahspe, which is sanctity of life, and if you're against freedom, and if you're thinking you're going to pray to the high gods and not to the Creator, you think that's a good idea. I think you're messed up. It's too fundamental to have it as just we can get by this. You cannot get by something that fundamental if you really disagree about that. The symbolism in Saphah is not even in the original Oahspe. It's from the Masons. So, and that's a long story, but I won't go there. So the original question was, what did I think about the Elohist taking over? And I said, I'm not sure that it's a good idea because I'm not sure they have a plan for anything. I know Bob Gillespie pretty well. I've met him. I've met him several times. And I don't know. I know they're growing hemp on it right now.
Is that true? That's what I heard too, guys. Are they doing hemp?
Not that it's not really a drug. It's not really a drug, but I'm just going like, what's the plan? What's the purpose? I don't think they have a plan. This is the last thing I'll say, Guy. You can talk as much as you want after this. I believe Oahspe is a book about service, helping the poor. And anything that's not involved with that is sheer self-deception. If you're not saying we're here to help the poor and the people who are in trouble, if you're not there for that reason, then it isn't Oahspe. Because that you were saying that Oahspe kind of is there to make you uncomfortable, and that's what I believe you have to do. You have to go out there into the communities and help people who are homeless or whatever. But you've got those. That's what Oahspe wants us to do, to help the people who are beneath us and are in trouble. That's all I want to say. So, anything else?
So was there actually an orphan in Molina, a valid orphan?
No, they never got that far.
Okay.
The whole effort was to get money. They're trying to find a way to get the government to pay them to take in children. So they're trying to legally become some kind of government-sponsored organization, and they never got it to work. They couldn't get any government money. So then they ran out of money, and then everyone said, okay, we're going home. I was never there. I simply communicated with the people that were, through emails and so on. You were there, Guy.
I've never been.
But I know that I prayed. I would pray every week with them online. I prayed with people online there, with the guy from Australia sometimes, and of course with Joan Greer. And Carl, Peter Hartgens. I don't think he's there, but
I like Peter. Peter's a cool guy.
Yep.
So that's all I have to say, Guy. I'm sorry I got a little cross with you, but
I appreciate it, man. No problem. I never experienced anything. Yeah, I never experienced anything you mentioned. Never anything about praying to anybody but the Creator.
That's good.
I know they had these things like in the summer that people come out there and have the elders out there and have their own little thing, and people said it was weird. I never was there during that time. But I always try to respect like people's own way of doing things, as long as it didn't really hurt anybody. And when I first became a Faithist, I really had an issue talking with somebody, and they said they had a spirit guide, and I'm like, we're not supposed to be talking to spirits or getting guidance from, talking to spirits maybe, but especially not getting guidance from spirits. It's guidance only from the Creator. And kept bringing that up, and finally it was just like, there's a part of our, like, not supposed to preach, not supposed to judge, it's almost like let them have their own. That's between them and the Creator, and you do your best you can. And so for me, it was like I put my foot down in certain areas. It sounds like you put your foot down in certain areas, and they still try. You know what I mean? Still got it. And for when you're saying the Oahspe is about servitude and going out and helping, and you can only say that for yourself. Can't say that for another person. Or you're judging.
I think you can if it's a Oahspe organization, because well, let me finish. I know I see your point, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'd like to qualify. Some people who publicly go out there and say, I'm a clergy priest of Oahspe, I'm Selah Salaf, and this is the word Oahspe, this is what you have to do. When people publicly misrepresent Oahspe,
sure.
I think you can go along and say, well, I'm not going to debate it. Let them do what they want. But on the other hand, if they deceive other people, I'm not saying you should get in a fist fight with them, but I'm saying it's okay to put something out there online and say, you know what, this is why you're misleading people. And people can still decide. They can look what you said. But I'm just saying, I do believe in healthy debate and discussion like we're having now, even if it seems not that healthy. I'm sorry, that's it. Over.
Yeah,